Awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and start, and we'll start welcoming people to the webinar.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. Sounds good.
3, 2, 1. Just getting started. Hey everyone, welcome. Those of you coming in, we're just getting set up. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. At least it's evening here, Brady, in Utah.
Yeah, it's evening-ish here as well, Pacific time. I bet we got some East Coasters here, probably a few.
Sure. So we'll wait a few minutes here while people are getting on. We're just going to check our settings and make sure things are set up correctly for us. But give me one sec.
Yeah.
As people are rolling in, I'm going to get the chat going.
All right. And we've got a few folks. We got Michael Jones here. Emily Miller is here. Got a nice. Christine Hammy. Yeah, we got a few. I noticed some of these names here. We got Yvonne Lee, Trang Nguyen. We also, let's see here. We got Emily Miller. So we got some people hopping on. Folks, we are going to kind of hang out just a little bit while other people hop aboard here. And if you want to try the chat out, if you haven't used Zoom before, I'm going to go ahead and click back a couple thumbs up just to get it rolling in the chat. Get used to using the chat, because I'll tell you what, if you want to kind of customize this to your situation, type in your questions in the chat, because we're going to be talking about like the top 5 passive streams of income for dentists today, right? Unless everybody on here wants to use their 2 hands, their whole right? Maybe there's some that want to do that, Jordan. What do you think?
There may be.
Yeah, but even if you want to use your 2 hands until you're 80 years old or 90, you know what? It still is nice to have other streams of income coming in, increase the value of your practice. We're going to be going over practice valuation techniques, and specifically, we'll tie it into membership plans, how subscription-based revenue is valued differently than just revenue in a dental practice. So that'll be really fun. We'll kind of build up to it with some other kind of cool strategies. All right, so let me take a look at our participants now. Oh, we've got some new folks here. Anatha Prasanna, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. We got Jonathan Richter here. Joshua Bratt. Oh, we got a few more. Robert Menza. I know Robert. Hey, how's it going? So people are trickling in. We're just gonna hang out here. Once again, type something in the chat. Whether say you don't like Brady's hair, or say I should get my hair cut like Jordan or something. So say something in the chat. Get used to using that function here. Because when we start getting hot and heavy, Jordan, I think people are going to have some questions.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be.
So, awesome. And we'll probably start in about 3 to 4 more minutes.
Yeah, get a few more. It seems like a few more people are coming on, and we'll give it you may be finishing up your day in dentistry and maybe had a longer patient, so we're going to give it a few more minutes. But just a quick introduction for people that don't know who we are. I'm sure most people know who you are, Brady. But my name is Jordan Comstock. I am the CEO and founder of BoomCloud, which is a software company that helps dental practices create, organize, and automate a dental membership program and create passive income for your office. And Brady, why don't you give a little introduction? Well, I mean, I've been in dentistry for 15 years. I started out on the clinical side, managing a dental lab. So I love this industry. My whole family has been in this industry. And Brady, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah, so I recognize some names in there. So, hey, I may have been with you. You might have attended a lecture of mine, or at one of the dental meetings at the Greater New York or something. But yeah, so those that don't know me, I was a junior in dental school, and I was doing some sports, doing some golf, and my wrist popped out of place. And it stayed out of place for 2 weeks, and I couldn't do any clinicals. As a junior, my right hand, my real working hand, went to a wrist surgeon. He said, "You might not want to choose dentistry as your career." And I was like, I'm past the point of no return, right? I had over $100,000 of school debt by my junior year and all that. So I started prepping teeth with my left hand in the evenings. And I also started studying, okay, what other careers can you do with a dental degree if you can't use your hand? Well, it turns out there's not a lot you can do. You can't really, they don't hire you for office jobs if you're a dentist. I mean, they train you to do one thing, do dentistry. And so I started learning about other streams of income that you can earn while being a dentist, but without using your two hands. So you're in luck if you're watching and you felt certain days at the end of your day, you feel strained and stressed, and you're like, I don't want to do this for decades more. You're going to be happy to hear some of this information if you have said to yourself, man, do I have to deal with managing a staff the rest of my days? For some of you that are saying, man, they now say you've got to save up $5 million in cash to retire, and you've only got 500,000 in your retirement account. You might be interested in knowing that you don't have to save 5 million. You can develop multiple streams of income and have the same effect as 3% interest off your 5 million.
Totally.
So anyway, this is going to be good. So what I did is I ended up buying 7 practices in the first 5 years out of dental school. And I learned the hard way how to make those into assets rather than liabilities, right? How to train teams, how to market effectively, how to add owner doctors, not associates, how to reduce my debt, and then eventually eliminate my debt. And so this goes hand in hand with our topics today, which are, we're going to start out talking about passive income streams. And then we're going to kind of end it with Jordan talking about how to incorporate one of the easiest passive income streams, which is a membership plan. Jordan and I do a lot of these because I added BoomCloud to my practice many years ago, and in pretty short time added thousands of patients to it. And so, hey, which was tens of thousands, eventually hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and that increases the valuation. So Jordan, I'm going to shout out a few more names, see who else I know on our list.
Sure.
Oh, we got a few more here. Megan Everett, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Michael Jones. Hey, welcome. Stephen
What's up, you
Mims.
guys?
How's it going? Tom Yan. We got Yan Lou and a few others on here. So what we're going to do is, I think should we start out with our content for tonight, Jordan? What do you think? Or should we wait a little? Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's go for it. We are recording this, so there will be a replay. So all those people that registered, we'll be sending a replay out as well. So we're good, man.
Okay, awesome. So here's the deal. I can go several different ways with some of this content, but I want to know who owns their practice or group of practices versus who doesn't own a practice. So in the chat, if you could, and you don't have to, if you could say, I own a practice, or I'm an associate, or I'm a partner, something like that, because I really want to give you actionable strategies that you can start doing right away. So if anyone would care to do that, I own a practice, Joshua, awesome, love it. Just go ahead and click in there. I'm going to start with really hitting strategy. Okay, Christine Nahami. Hey, beautiful. Nice. Robert does. So this is super awesome. Thank you guys for participating there. I'm going to make an assumption on that ratio that you guys are practice owners, not associates.
And just so you know, most people that registered are practice owners. We asked that question. So
you do.
A lot of practice owners. Yep.
Everybody there. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go a little deep here, and I'm going to start with probably the hottest topic. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to multiple streams of income first. Okay. That dentists are crushing it with right now. Then we're going to work into the valuation side of things. Then we're going to work into how those streams of revenue are valued. And then we'll finalize it with kind of our our wonderful DJ, right? Jordan and his company BoomCloud that I've known and used for so long. So I want to give you a lot of content that is kind of unrelated to BoomCloud at first, sure, which is going to lay a framework for, if you guys aren't using BoomCloud yet, kind of how that works. So we're going to go a little bit off today, folks. You're going to say, where is Brady going with this? Where in the world is he going with this? So only in the last 2 weeks have I started teaching people what my most profitable business has been. A lot of people say, well, Brady, you've owned all these groups, many groups, and you've trained you've got 88 different groups in your study club, and you're helping them go from 15 locations to 20 locations. Someone tried to call me. So if there was a glitch in my video, I said decline, okay? And so here's the secret, folks. Real estate. They say that McDonald's, their real estate's worth more than their franchise, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
The largest group practice owner in the US recently came out with a statement. He said, my real estate holdings are worth more than my practice. Wow. Myself, I started investing in real estate the day I bought my first practice in 2001, almost 20 years ago. And I never stopped. I kept going. And I look back now, and boy, I've done a lot with practice stuff. And I know you guys have too, with some great practices on this. But I look back and I've made more money, equity-wise and cash, and more income with real estate. So why would I bring up real estate right now? Why is it a unique time in history? Number one, who can attest in your hometown? Do you have a lot of vacancies? Who has a lot of vacancies? You see for lease signs all over. Guess what has caused those vacancies in retail space? There's 4 types of commercial real estate: retail, industrial, office, and multifamily. There's actually a little 5th one called medical dental, which is the highest valued of all that healthcare real estate, triple net leases, nicer buildings, all that. Now, the retail sector has been hit the worst. These are buildings in high exposure locations, selling goods. It happens to be the type of real estate that most dental practices would love to be in. High exposure,
totally.
right?
Yeah.
You're absolutely. So what has happened is this retail segment is now undervalued. There's too much supply, because what are these companies doing? They're selling online, not bricks and mortar. So you can buy these on average at about 75% discount. Beautiful strip centers, beautiful strip malls, beautiful retail centers that are 30% vacant. And here's the deal, folks. Real estate, watch this. Real estate, this is all the only equation you need to know. And we're starting real estate with our passive income equation.
Yeah.
The value of real estate equals the NOI, net operating income, divided by the cap rate, okay? Value of a real estate, you can know the value of your real estate before you buy it if you do this equation. Take the existing leases coming in that building, that'll give you the net operating income, which is basically your profit or your EBITDA, divided by capitalization rate. Most medical dental buildings sell for between a 5% and a 7% capitalization rate. If you have those 2 numbers, the leases coming in and the cap rate, that'll give you what the building's worth, okay? And so here's the interesting part. You can buy these at 75% less cost than normal, okay? When you add your own practice into there, or a periodontist practice, or your oral surgery buddy, or your orthodontic buddy, and you get that building from 60% occupancy to 100% occupancy, that increases the net operating income, and it's worth a whole lot more, okay? We just closed on a group of buildings last Tuesday. 11 buildings on the main drag, 11 separate buildings, 74,000 square feet. Whoa. Wow. You know how much 74,000 square feet is?
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And we bought it for $54 a foot. And it's already half filled with medical dental. The day we closed, so bought it for $4 million. The day we closed, it was worth an estimated $12.5 million.
Wow.
That's crazy. And so you can do this with smaller buildings, medium buildings, larger complexes like I do now. And so when you buy real estate, what you're doing is setting it up for passive income to give you a great retirement plan. So if you have a solo practice right now and you're like, hey, someday I'm going to grow out of this, when you do your next practice, make sure you buy the real estate and buy a very inexpensive retail strip center or retail center. And then your practice goes into 4,000 square feet. You bring a couple other dental buddies in there from different specialties, build that building into a medical dental building, and the value will be double, triple, or quadruple what you paid for it, and it'll give you passive income. So before we get going to the next topic, real estate, get off this. Any questions in the chat about, hey, Brady, how do you get started looking for real estate? Or, and so I'm going to give you guys my email. If you want to look for projects in your area, this last building, we had $1 million left over cash. So we pay cash for all the real estate, no debt.
Nice.
We had $1 million extra left over, and I've got millions of dollars from very successful dentists that are in our study club that want to invest. So if you find a good deal, you do not need any money to do the deal. Once again, if you find a good deal, there's plenty of private lending, dentists who want to invest in that deal. So does anybody on here want my top 3 resources to find buildings? Just put it in the Q&A. If you want them, I'll tell you how to find them in your area. Yeah, Jordan.
I do. I'm not excluded from this, right?
No, you're not excluded. Oh man.
And I'm actually being serious.
Okay. So Jordan, can I go over a couple examples in my life instead of just starting with these huge deals? Can I do that real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I think we had a couple people put in the chat. I'm just going to say, how do you buy real estate without having much cash, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful question, Josh. 100% right. I'm going to go over that. So, and then someone else said, hey, how do I find it? So LoopNet, go to LoopNet. Okay, just go to LoopNet, billions and billions of square feet of real estate. And I'll show you what
net, right?
Yep. You nailed it. Maybe put that in the
I just did.
Oh man. Okay. So let me go over 2 deals that I did. Just real this. When I was expanding my dental practice, my 6-op practice went to 8-op, and I needed a building. So I bought a 9,000 square foot building for only $575,000, and I put down the $150,000 down payment. It was appraised last week at $2.2 million. Right? 4 times what I paid for it. Another strip mall that had a Blockbuster in it, I paid $330,000 for it. It was appraised at $2 million. I shouldn't say appraised, had a broker opinion of value for $2 million last week. So obviously the real estate market is really good right now. And so how do you do it without any money into it? So here's the way it looks. Usually there's an ownership LLC. This is the LLC that buys the building, okay? And then if you have other people coming in with money, you either set up a lending LLC, or you have those lenders be actually a part owner of the project. If it's a bigger project, I recommend having a separate lending LLC. If it's a smaller one, you just use that one LLC directly. So this Memphis deal, we rounded up $5 million in cash, actually $6 million. We only needed $5 million. The lending LLC lent that money to the ownership LLC, and we didn't even use debt. We just paid cash at the auction for it. We won the bid on that. And then the lending LLC loaned the money to the ownership LLC. Okay. Typically, however, what will happen is this. Let's say you find the building, and let's say Brett or one of you on here says, I'm going to open a second location in this building, okay? You will typically be the 60% or majority owner in that building. Nice. And then some of the people that bring some cash to the table, okay, will be a part owner. So you won't have any down payment, and these wealthy dentists bring in the money. They bring in the money to have a part of the deal. And so therefore you have it. Yes, Jordan.
So you make sure your majority share, the 60% is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm making. For you folks on the phone, if you're going to be having your practice leasing that building, you should effectively own the building.
Yeah,
but you
I
can,
agree.
Don't you agree? But you can let some minority partners in who are going to cough up a bunch of cash, which will renovate suites.
Yep.
It will give the down payment, right? And so then what typically happens is, okay, sometimes you want to pay these people back that money, okay? And with retail to medical dental conversions, the value of those buildings can skyrocket so much that after 6 months, you basically have the building refinanced And what happens is everybody who contributed money, they get their money back. And now you have a 100% finance deal where everybody gets their money back. And sometimes in those deals, your 60% goes back up to 90% ownership. And the people that brought the money in, they would just own a little piece of the equity and they have their money back. And they had a nice little interest rate of return at 6%, 9%, whatever that may be. Now, if you're on the phone call right now and you have $100,000 cash that you saved up, like many of you do, you can find a building that has a replacement value of $3 million. I'm gonna do the numbers right here. This is how the good deals typically shake out. Okay, you will want a building that it might be 20,000 square feet. So this is real simple, 20,000 square foot building. It cost $4 million to build, but it's lost some tenants because, you know, Amazon's out there and COVID happened, right?
Yeah.
So it lost some tenants, and now the net operating income is lower, but you've got a dental practice and you can open another location in there, okay? So they'd sell this $4 million building, let's say for 1.5 million. Okay, you can buy it for 1.5, but you know you're gonna go ahead and put your practice in there and your orthodontist buddy is gonna go in there as well. Ah, great. So you know that after closing, based on you signing your own lease in there, that it's going to be worth 3.5 million. And once you get one more lease, it'll be worth 4 million. And once you get one more lease, it'll be worth more than the replacement value at maybe 5 million. So if you buy it for 1.5 million, right, you might need, 100 grand down, 200 grand down, okay? And now you've got a retirement asset that's going to pay you, once it's worth 3.5 to 5 million, it's going to pay you about $12,000 a month, and that's after you get your money back. Who could live? You could almost live off 12 grand a month, right? I mean,
yeah.
Some people, but so if you do this 2 or 3 times over, like I've done many times in the last 20 years, that passive income stacks up and you've got tons of equity in there. And you've got not only a real estate asset, but you've got a practice asset that has value as well. So I'm going to move off of this real estate topic, but if you want more info on that, or go to totaldentalfreedom.com, and you'll see stories down below about how folks have used real estate as a component of buying practices, acquiring other locations. And then many of those dentists that are on thank you, Jordan.
You're welcome.
Many of those dentists that are on there, they use Boom Cloud because of the passive component. So, Jordan, what I want to do is, before I talk about the next passive stream of income, I want to talk about how Boom Cloud directly affects valuations of a practice. Could I do that, or a subscription plan?
Yeah,
okay.
Let's do it.
Let's do that. Okay. So. Okay, mentor. Okay, so one stream of income I'm going to talk about leverages off of these older dentists who have not started practicing again after COVID. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to talk about creating passive income with that. But first, I'm going to talk about how a subscription plan like Boom Cloud, that of course utilizes a software to manage that, how a subscription plan affects your valuation in your practice. Okay, here we go. So let's say your practice right now does $1 million a year. Okay, it does $1 million a year. The average dental practice is worth about 72% of last year's gross revenue, right? So $720,000 is what your dental practice is worth. But dental practices, because of this DSO component today, a lot of them are valued at a multiple of EBITDA, sometimes 6 times EBITDA. Okay, EBITDA is basically the profit margin in the practice after the doctor gets a modest salary. And so one cool thing about subscription plan revenue, every dollar that comes in is counted as EBITDA. So what's cool about that is your subscription plan revenue is not subject to the traditional way that you value practices. subscription plan revenue, every dollar that comes in on your savings plan goes directly to EBITDA, which is how we've been transitioning into valuing dental practices. So isn't that cool, Jordan, how that works?
Yeah. So the first one you said, the 72 cents or the $720,000. Typically $1 million practice is worth that much. That's called the discounted cash flow valuation. Is
yes
what I've been told. And then the what you're with the 6x there, that's a multiplier valuation, and that's, you want to be in a multiplier valuation with anything that you do, because, well, it's going to make you more money.
Yes.
Simple.
Yes. Yes. And here's one more thing, Jordan, and it ties into our next topic. Usually, as you add another location and maybe another and have 3 locations, you transition from valuing your practices from this discounted cash flow methodology
Yep.
to a multiple, right? Like Heartland and all these big groups sell for a multiple.
Yep.
So what's cool is this: if you get ahead of the curve and get subscription revenue coming in your practice, and then you multiply that in other practices, you know, if your EBITDA number is way higher and you're getting an 8x or a 10x multiplier, now you've double whammied it. You've taken that subscription revenue and you've got a higher multiple as you grow. So it can mean not just hundreds of millions of dollars, but hundreds of thousands of dollars, but millions of dollars in the future
in value,
by starting early.
Yep.
Right. So
there's a quote from there's a book that I recommend everyone here read, Brady. It's called The Automatic Customer. It's building recurring revenue in any business, and it's written by John Warlow. I can put I'll find a link here in a minute.
Okay.
I highly recommend getting that book because it talks about everything we're talking about here in regards to valuations and how recurring revenue through a membership plan in this case, how that increases the value of a business, of a dental practice. I think John Warlow says the recurring revenue can be valued between 24 times the monthly recurring revenue up to, I think it might be 40 times. I do have a slide on that. So it's like 24 times the MRR, so monthly recurring revenue. So if you had like $45,000 in monthly recurring revenue, it can technically be valued at a little over $1 million to 2.4 million, roughly, is kind of what I've seen according to this book here. So automatic customer, go grab that book. It's if you like what you're hearing now, you'll love that book.
You make a good point, Jordan. Mm-hmm. Not only just from the most empirical sense does recurring revenue increase that, but in reality, if you're going to value that as almost a separate asset class, which you should, right? Which you should, and your accountant should, or your valuation expert should.
Absolutely.
Then you're going nuts, right? With that, right? And just to say it even more simply, folks, with your dental practice, when you cut that crown, you do that crown, you're doing it once and it's done, right? That's how we value it, either with the discounted cash flow methodology or the multiple. But with that recurring revenue, right, they know it's there every month, and so it minimizes their risk, right?
It does, yep.
It minimizes their risk. That's why they pay such a high premium multiple for that.
Yeah, if you think about it, any business owner, or if a DSO is buying your practice, let's say, they want, I mean, technically they're buying it so they can make it a multiplier. That's why most corporate dental offices buy discounted cash flow offices, because they know that they can turn it into a multiplier. But if you think about it, if you think of real estate, you were talking about real estate earlier. The beautiful thing about real estate is you get monthly cash flow coming in, so recurring passive income, plus the increase of valuation of that building, right? Over time, typically real estate goes up, and at least as long as I've been alive, it's just kept going up and up, right? With some dips every once in a while, but it still goes up nonetheless. So that's a very good financial model. Now, if you want to do this to your practice, you need to build a recurring revenue cycle in the practice, so you get that predictable recurring revenue coming in, and then that over time, that valuation increasing. So it's very similar to real estate once you get that.
I think what you're saying is huge, because when I first made the decision to put Boom Cloud in my practices and to start a dental savings plan, I was just thinking about the monthly money coming in, right?
Sure,
That's what
yeah.
you do, right? And with real estate investment, a lot of times we think of, the passive income. That's great. I can live off that.
Sure, yeah.
But when it comes time to sell an asset and you get a big check for $2 million, or right,
or
that's
more.
Or more, then that's a huge benefit. And then you take that money, okay, and put that into another asset or two or three that produce more passive income. Yeah. And so I love it. Okay, so all right, let's go to the next topic. This one's super fun for me, and it ties right in with what we're talking about with membership plans as well. And I call it the mentorship practice.
Real quick, Brady.
Mentorship practice.
We got real quick. We got a question. Josh, hi, Josh. He said, "Are we going to get the bullet points for the resources?" I'm happy to put a bullet list together.
Yep, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be super cool.
I'll have one of my team members put something together, have them watch it and do this. There will be a recording, Josh, so you're good to go. All right, Brady, go ahead.
I love it. So I'm only sharing with you guys, like, not the pie in the sky, X, Y, or Z new fad in dentistry. I'm only sharing from the hundreds, well, by now thousands of dentists who have actually done it. They've reached financial freedom in dentistry. It's like, what do they do? What did they do that caused them to do this? So real estate, that's number one. The underlying foundation is to have things like a dental savings plan in the practice. And like I said, at the end, Jordan's going to get into the numbers, and that's going to be huge. So we're going to kind of save that for the end. But what are these other folks doing? How are they creating income besides just their practice, real estate? Well, it has to do with this. Buying low, selling high is a common theme with stock trading, right? With real estate. If you look at your dental membership plan, if you start a dental membership plan and you've got no revenue coming in from a plan yet, if you start that, you're basically buying low at zero, right? You've got nothing in your practice.
Absolutely.
Right? And you're building an asset, a secondary asset in your practice. So right now, what's happening is there are doctors, spoke to one last night, 80 years old. He's not coming back to practice. He's done because of COVID. He's in that high risk range, right? 80 years old. Yeah. And he's like, I've got it made. I don't want to die from COVID. And of course, the media has been freaking us out about it and all that good stuff. Right. And so he didn't start his practice back up yet. And he's got a gorgeous building, 6 operatories. He converted a house into this. And you can buy the practice and the house for just a few $100,000. And almost immediately, he has 4,200 patients, 2 full-time hygienists, a lot, right?
Yeah.
Almost immediate. And the practice part of it's just 80 grand. 80 grand for the practice. And it'll probably do about 800 the first year, very easily. Okay. At 800, using traditional methodologies, that's $600,000 valuation. If you buy it for 80, then how much equity do we have at the end of year 1? So we bought it for 80, does 800 by the end of the year, 600,000 the valuation. So we're looking at, it's worth $520,000 in equity. Not bad. Over $500,000 equity component. Equity is kind of your valuation gauge on how much income you have coming out of the practice. So on a practice that's doing about 800,000, if you do it with another dentist, okay, you allow another dentist to buy in at the same time, then typically here's what it looks like. So I don't recommend that you guys watching this with a practice go out and buy a practice and start working 2 practices. That's not a great recipe, right? But we have tons of practices for sale that are really good deals right now, okay? And we have tons of young dentists that want to buy. Yes, Jordan?
I have a question because I'm actually interested in buying a dental practice. because I've been on the clinical side and then obviously started businesses. Oh, what's the best way to find a practice? I'm sure you'll talk about this, but I'm just curious. How do you find a good opportunity to buy a practice? And then I'll leave you with that, and then you'll finish what you're doing.
Oh, I love it. I'm gonna give you like 5 ways. Okay.
Cool.
So I'm gonna start with one just to as a teaser for everybody, right? Like, this will be fun. Call your local supply reps, okay, and say,
oh, that's a
hey,
good idea.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Just say, hey, hey, Mr. Henry Schein, hey, I'm looking at buying another practice, and I'm also thinking about switching my account over to Henry Schein. Right? You know what I'm talking about?
That's a great idea.
Oh, it's really good. And what I would do is, here's what I'd commit to do. If you help me find the practice for sale, I will commit that I'll do the new practice, right? Keep it on Henry Schein and switch my account to Henry Schein. And of course, I pay a $2,000 finder's fee. Oh, so now he's out there because, dentists, they get to know, their staff get to know the rep, right?
Yep.
So now you have somebody actually personally talking to them about you as a person and as an opportunity. And they're going to say things like this. Oh, well, there's actually 5 guys that have been threatening to retire for years. The 2 right now are Dr. Jordan and probably Dr. Brown. That was for you, Jordan. And Dr. Thanks. Brown that want to retire right now. But there's 3 others that if I talked to them, they probably would. So that's an incredible strategy. You will for sure get a great deal, right? Sure. Just by doing that one in your area. And so anyway, we'll get into more. Old doc, young doc, and you, the mentor and mentor. So what you do, the mentor, is basically you're the guy or gal that has been there, done that. You own a practice. You guys own a practice. These young docs, they haven't owned a practice yet. They need you. They want you. They want a mentor. And so those are the 3 ingredients you need. And in the middle is this gorgeous little sweet spot, okay? The old doctor sells. The young doctor works full-time and has a dental license. And you as the mentor basically bring the parties together. You have generally a real estate investment, a practice investment, and oftentimes what it looks like is this. Maybe you, the mentor, own half the practice, and the young doctor owns half the practice. Here's how the revenue is split. At the end of each month, there's expenses and profit. So we take the profit and split it into 2 buckets, the clinical bucket and the business bucket. They get 100% of the clinical bucket. If there's a new partner that's added to make a 2-doc practice, they split that clinical bucket, okay? A dental practice success is half based on the clinicians, half on the business side.
Yep.
So the business bucket is split up based on equity ownership. In this particular case, the mentor, or Jordan in that case, gets 50% of the revenue, and the young doc, right? The new doc gets 50%. So the new doc gets a sweet deal. 100% of the clinical bucket and 50% of the business bucket. On a practice doing 800, that equates to about 300 grand a year to that new doc. Really great income, more than they could make in a DSO. And then for the investor, if you will, or mentor, if you will, we're looking at about $7,500 a month in cash flow with the practice. And then if you buy the building, which is a great idea, more cash flow from that. So usually it's over a $10,000 deal, and that's just getting started. The revenue increases as you add another doctor, and oftentimes it'll be a third with a new doctor. Other variations to this model include the new doc, the young doc, owning 25% or 33%, and then the Jordan person or the other dentist owning the majority interest, which does give you all the control. And Jordan's like, maybe I do that, right? Probably, So these young, he's probably right. So the majority of the ones I've done this last year, the mentor owns the majority because it's actually safest for the young doc. You know what I mean? Because if that young doc starts managing and they're not, or do a stock or a bond, I didn't get that one. Read that off to me in just a second, Jordan. But okay. To protect them, you should be the majority owner. You've been there, you've done that, you found the deal, right? I would keep that majority ownership. So what was that question you saw somebody ask, Jordan?
Real, let me, I'm going to add my 2 cents here because I've owned multiple businesses, and I think obviously I'm pro majority share, right? If I'm going to do something, I like having majority share. Maybe I'm a control freak, Brady. I don't know.
No, you're right. You're good.
But here's the reason why I think there should be in business. I think there should be one driver. If you compare it to like driving a car, there's never 3 drivers of a car, 4 drivers of a car. There's one driver and maybe somebody helping navigate, right? Or Siri navigating, right? But I think that's how I think of it. I think it's really good for if you can, I guess, do this to own majority share of the business, because well, you can control it, and also if you're partnering with a younger doctor, like you said, Brady, they still may need some maturing to do in terms of management and all that fun stuff. So it's always good to be majority share.
I like that.
Okay, so Josh says, or do a stock and B stock. Do you know what he means by that?
Yep, I know what he means. So let me give the definitions to that for folks. So you could technically each have 50-50 ownership, okay? Sure. And then the class A stock is owned by this person right here, okay? And that gives you all the voting rights, even though you're equal percent.
Is that like preferred stock?
It is, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm used to preferred, calling it preferred stock, yeah.
So what I would do though, I've done that before. Sometimes the dentist doesn't understand it and they still feel like they call the shots.
Yeah.
So you might consider, just having them as a minority percentage, but you are correct, Josh. Contractually,
nice, Josh.
Yep, that is good. Very, 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 very good point. So mentorship practices, folks. I'll tell you what, there are more practices out there that are worth this, that could easily be worth this, and that will positively affect your wealth building and your retirement strategy and all that stuff. So before we move on from the mentorship practices, and I'll give you a few more tips on how to find these bad boys. Any other questions about that? How to buy the real estate with it or anything? I've
seen a different example, Brady, where some practice owners will take like their membership program and actually put it in a separate LLC that's partnered with the practice. And let's say they own multiple practices and they have a membership program in each practice, but it's a separate LLC from those practices. And that could be, I mean, I've seen practice owner do that. May be an interesting way to break things up if you don't want, I guess, others to get the recurring or passive income. But
yeah, I know I've actually seen that a lot too, because anybody that's going to own multiple practices, they're kind of an entrepreneur, right?
Yep.
And what usually happens is they're like, I'm going through all this trouble to start this plan. Why does everyone else get to receive the benefit?
Sure.
So you're right. And oftentimes that LLC that receives it, they might do a joint venture split. So the practices get 30, right? Practices get a piece for doing the services.
Sure.
But then there's profit on top of that plan. So 100%. Okay, another tip, how to find these deals. Through me. Whoa, through me. This last one I was telling about, I just got that through the grapevine. I have probably 5 to 10 deals that come across my desk every week, just because of me being in transitions for 15 years.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my personal email. Actually, I won't write it up there. I'll just have
I'll do it.
Put it in there. Oh, cool. So just say, Brady, do you have any of those sweet deals, real estate or practice, in my area? I'll answer you pretty quickly. And there's a good chance that there's probably 1 or 2 in your area. And I'd be happy to help you to figure out how you're going to benefit from it as well. Is this the webinar recorded? Yes, it is recorded. But I will also say that if you go to Total Dental Freedom, there's a webinar that gets more comprehensive, totaldentalfreedom.com. There's a free webinar that gets more comprehensive. It's a full hour that goes into a lot more detail. So if you want more on each of these concepts, I'm kind of giving you really teasers on the passive income streams as it relates really to one of my favorite subscription-based revenue, Boom Cloud, all that stuff. But if you do want to watch a full webinar, I do have it on totaldentalfreedom.com. And you can go there and just scroll down and they'll say, hey, to watch the free webinar, blah, blah, blah. That might be a good bet. Yes, Jordan.
Do you want me to share your email as well?
Yep, go ahead. Yep.
It's Brady Frank 74 Gmail.
You got it. Boomski. Yep. And if you don't want to look up online the webinar, just email me and I can get that link to you. Anything you need there. Okay. So, and if you're worried about filling the real estate based on the previous stuff, I work with a lot of privately owned groups around the US. Celebrate Dental Embraces. The CEO is Dave Ferguson. 15 locations, 32 partners, no associates. All sorts of groups like that, all sorts of them. So that want to move into buildings. Okay, another tip: how to find these. I did a bunch of phasing out seminars about 14 years ago, and I developed and have kept up with it since then, a database of old doctors. So we send mailers out to these old doctors in my database. So if you're in an area and you're like, Brady, find me a practice, email me and we can use my database. And you just have to pay for the mailing to my people, right? To my older docs, but it's like 47 cents per mailer. So you can use my database if you'd like. Just email me and say, Brady, let's send that letter out as well. That's number 2 strategy that I like. Any questions on there, Jordan, that we should be answering now, or are we still okay?
We're still okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. Well, Jordan, should I go into a couple more passive streams of income, or shall we hit the subscription stuff? How are we on time? Should I keep hitting some content and some kind of fun stuff before that? What do you think?
Yeah, you can. We're at let's see, 5:48 Mountain Time right now.
Okay.
I say go a few more minutes and then we'll transition.
Okay, I'm gonna do another one. By the way, I want to get a little vote from folks. Okay, I want to get a little vote. Which strategy would you folks be more likely to do? Convert retail properties to medical dental, like earlier, or do a mentorship practice? I want to know. So if you guys could vote and tell me what you think there, you can put mentorship or you can put real estate. I want to do both.
Josh wants to do both.
Yeah. Mentor. Oh, we got a couple mentorship. Whoa, mentorship. Mentorship wins. Oh, Megan, you're right. Mentorship won. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is, you're right. So why did I do that? Because I've invested in real estate 20 years, and doing these big 74,000 square foot deals are where I am in my trajectory, right? And nice, Christine. I see that. That's awesome.
Nice, Christine.
So I have a feeling the reason you want to do the mentorship deals is because you can picture it in your mind. You see that there are old docs that aren't coming back. You see that people have. You see how there's young docs that you'd love to mentor. Some of you actually say, like, I would like to mentor someone to do what I've done now that I'm successful. So I think you're right to say that. So let me tell you what happened to me and why did I come to the same conclusion that you guys did on the mentorship deal. I had bought 7 practices in my first 5 or 6 years out of school. And I was going to the dental schools. I'd buy 6 pizzas and I'd do a lunch and learn. And I say, who wants to own a practice like I did out of school? That's how I'd find my young docs to come in. And I loved it. I loved teaching them. I loved helping them build their first practice. I loved it. And it was a lot of hands-on work. I was really busy doing that with my own group and whatnot. And so what happened in the year 2006 and that was 5 years out of dental school after I'd sold some of my first practices, and I had basically finally achieved what I call total dental freedom. Clinical freedom, I was just doing the procedures I loved. Lifestyle freedom, I wasn't doing any clinical dentistry anymore. And I had financial freedom. I didn't have to work again. And that lasted 1 year. And I was like, I like clinical dentistry. I like dentistry. And I came out of retirement, right? At the age of 35, that would be. And what I did when I was 35 is all I did were mentorship deals. And folks, I did 11 of them in 1 year. And all Walgreens, wow, very cool. Look at Christine, huh? There we go. And those are
nice.
Yep. So I did 11 of these mentorship deals. Let me tell you the top 5 things that I've loved about mentorship deals. Number 1, I get to mentor dentists who are just one step behind me, right? If you own a practice, you're one step ahead of a dentist. If you own a business like Jordan, you're one step ahead of a dentist who's never owned a business before. Mentoring those into ownership. Number 2, the ability, yes, to buy real estate. 85% of practices for sale have real estate. Yep. And you can buy that real estate because that young doc probably isn't in a position to do that yet. Number 2. Number 3, passive income. Super fun. Passive income. Yeah, super fun. Number 4, equity increase. Equity increase. Whenever you increase your equity, which is kind of like untapped cash, equity's untapped cash. Whenever you increase your equity, someday something's going to happen and you're going to get a big check, right? If you have a lot of equity in your house, someday something's going to happen. You're going to move, you're going to sell that house, you're going to get a big check. So what I love about mentorship deals is you have increased equity in both the real estate side and the practice side. It's a double whammy growth, right?
Nice.
And then number 5, what do I like about it? Well, if you invest in your niche deep and narrow, and you don't buy pizza franchises, right?
Yeah.
And you don't join a multi-level marketing company, right? And you don't invest in Russian oil mines, right? Russian oil, and you don't invest in whale spearing operations in the Arctic, right? Which would be AOC's all over me right now, probably. Anyway, wow. See, do not give her the recording. But anyway, what I found is the dentists that do not go off into doing this, the ones that say, you know what, I'm going to go deep into my niche in dentistry, super, super, super high ROI. Why is that? You already did it once. You know how to grow a practice. You know how to talk to dentists, right? You know this stuff. So you have a very low time investment and a very high equity increase, high passive income. You get the option to do real estate. And I'll tell you what, I have had so much fun mentoring dentists because here's something. There's a certain joy that comes from usefulness. Using your skills in dentistry, that's great. Helping patients, that's great. There's dentistry sometimes isn't the most fun career, playing in spit, blood, the injections. But when that patient says, thank you, doctor, you were the only one that could have helped them. I'll tell you what, same feeling happens, at least for me, when you're the only one that can help this young doc and hold their hand and get them into ownership, right? The joy of usefulness. There's so much joy in helping a dentist to achieve that in business. And watch this. We're doing it in the face of corporate America, these DSOs, right?
Yeah.
Their only other choice is to go to corporate DSOs and pick up the scraps. If it's not you, who's it going to be? So it is one of the most satisfying things that you can do to mentor someone to ownership. One of the most satisfying things, one of the most profitable things. I did 11 of them in 1 year. It was incredible.
Wow.
And so basically, I've helped probably 650 dentists do just this since I did those 11. In fact, if you go all the way back to Mark Costas's first podcast, I talked about the ESP, the Entrepreneurial Satellite Practice. It's the podcast is called Dentalpreneur. And Mark actually called me up one day. He said, Brady, can I have that name? It cost me $3,000. I said, you can have it. I just gave it to him. So that one podcast, he told me it was the most listened to podcast of any dental podcast. So, and that was on Entrepreneurial Satellite Practice, that's what it is. It's the mentorship deal. Now, a couple more things, Jordan, then let's segue into the guts of this, and I'll turn you loose on Boom Cloud, which, by the way, folks, and I'll give a separate intro to that.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so I had a point, and when I said that, I lost it. I think that's what happens when you're 46. Oh, I got it, Jordan. Do you ever have that happen, or does that not happen when you're in your 30s?
It happens to me too.
Okay. So many of you are thinking, Brady, why don't I just buy the practice 100% me and add an associate to that practice and then let them buy in once the value's increased? The problem with that is associate turnover is every 18 months.
Yeah.
When you lose that associate, oh no. New one. And guess who works that practice? Now you have the horrible, that's not total dental freedom when you're working 2 practices, right? And then they have this horrible word out there. It's actually a series of words, and it's called negative cash flow. Negative cash flow, right? Oh yeah, we don't want that. So you want to give them a part of the equity. 25% is about average today. 33% is what you want to give them, because then they're signing on the loan for the practice, folks. That means they're putting the golden handcuffs, not you.
Yeah.
They're mad at the bank for putting the golden handcuffs on, not you. You can't do anything special to keep an associate there. But if they buy in with you from the get-go, look at this. It's great for you. And is it good for them? Remember, if they buy in 25%, they're getting 25% of all the equity growth from that good deal that you found. Why would they do this? Because you found that deal, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So really, really fun model. I'm going to go over it one last time, then I'm going to give an intro to Jordan and why Boom Cloud was so special for my growing group, and why I have answered many dozens of people's questions about what software to use to manage their dental savings plan or membership plan, and I always come back to Boom Cloud. So mentorship practice. Once again, the 5 things that make this a winning investment opportunity for a dentist. Number 1, the joy of usefulness. There's dentists out there, and you are the one combating DSOs, right? You're keeping private practice dentistry to the private practice. Yes, look at this. Yep, she's right. Hey, she said that because I said AOC, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure,
yeah. So, number 1, it's good for you. It makes you feel like you're doing your part to save dentistry, mentoring someone else to do it. I did 11 of them, loved every minute of it in that 1 year. Real estate, folks. These deals are going to drop on your lap doing the mentorship. So even though you said real estate versus mentorship, you said mentorship, real estate's going to come as a secondary investment right in there. Passive income, right? Wow. Now you don't have to work with your 2 hands in that practice. There's a doctor who wants to do that, right? And then you add a second doctor to that practice. So passive income, equity increase, right? Whenever you increase that business, right, you're increasing your equity, which means you're going to get big checks down the road. And that building, you're going to put a new lease in place in that building you buy at market rate, $23 a square foot, triple net, whatever it is. And that lease dictates your real estate value. So you'll get equity in the real estate too, because the net operating income divided by cap rate equals what value that is. So your building will probably be worth maybe $250,000 more than what you paid for it. Lastly, ROI on your time. Deep and narrow in dentistry. Deep and narrow is going to give you, I won't go over the percent returns, but very, very high returns doing this. So mentorship deal is one of my favorites. So can I segue into your intro, Jordan?
Let's do it.
Okay. So, I met Jordan many years ago, and he was just starting Boom Cloud many years, right? And he said, Brady, you want to try Boom Cloud? And I said, I don't have a dental savings plan right now. And you know what? I said, let's do it. So I started it, and we got hundreds and hundreds of patients signed up. It ended up being thousands of patients.
Yep.
And that those tens of thousands and even more than that just came in every month. And here's the side benefit. Yes, the passive income's huge, but those same people were some of our best internal referrals. They'd say, don't buy insurance, use their plan. And they'd refer people by the droves, right? And so that's number 2. Number 3, they would do more dentistry. It's really weird. It's like, oh, we're discounting our dentistry. That means, oh, we might take a hit. No. They on average did 80% more dentistry than the non-plan people in our practice. So It's been great for me. I think it'd be great for you. Jordan's awesome. His team is awesome. I'm going to hop off so I don't hog the airwaves. And you guys will have a good time with Jordan. But if you're not on BoomCloud already, I basically say give it a shot. I think it's the best one out there. So thanks, Jordan, for having me tonight.
Thanks, Brady. This is awesome, man. All right, so we're gonna get started. Have a good one, man.
You too.
We're gonna get started. I'm gonna show you guys how membership programs can be super successful in your practice. For those of you that don't know me, again, I'm the CEO and founder of BoomCloud. Been in dentistry for over 15 years. I'm also the co-host on the Navigating Dental Insurance podcast. Say no to PPOs.com. Go check that out. But today we're going to make it quick. Last few minutes here, I'm going to talk about membership programs 101. For those of you that, does anyone here have a membership programs? Put M in the chats if you have a membership program, or N for no in the chat, just so I can kind of get an idea of what everyone's doing. So put M if you have a membership, N for no. Basically, a membership program on the, oh, awesome, thanks. Perfect. So a membership program is an alternative dental insurance where patients pay your practice a monthly or yearly subscription to get access to certain benefits and savings to your practice. It's very, very similar to Amazon Prime, but built for your patient's oral health care. That's kind of how I define it there. A good example of this is a membership program where patients pay, a yearly or monthly fee. So a yearly fee, you're looking at $300 a year or more. Just it ranges depending on where you're at, or $35 a month. And the patients get these benefits here. So you can take a screenshot of this so you can see that and save it so you can kind of study it after. But that's what the typical plan looks like. There's many pros about offering both a monthly option and a yearly option. In fact, I encourage both. But here's what's going to happen here. Membership programs are going to help you build a patient loyalty system, which no matter what will increase the value of your practice. It'll generate predictable recurring revenue. And as you heard, passive income and that cash flow coming in helps increase the valuation and the stability of your practice. You're also going to it's going to help you reduce dependence on PPOs, which helps increase your profit margins, which again, all leads to building the value of your practice. So membership programs are extremely powerful, more powerful than I think most people realize. And Brady's a wonderful example of his practice that he used to own had used BoomCloud to help manage their membership program. And I'll show you some case studies here in a little bit. But wonderful way to grow your practice, get some pretty low hanging fruit of passive income coming in, and build wealth and valuation for your practice. So this is the book that I recommended everyone get. It was called The Automatic Customer. A wonderful read here. So let's get to some stats about the opportunity. Yeah, you're good. You'll get the replay, Josh. So make sure you watch it. So according to the U.S. Surgeon General, over 108 million Americans lack dental insurance in 2012. That's a lot of people. It's now estimated that around 180 million Americans don't have dental insurance, and I believe that number will continue to rise, especially with the unemployment of this year. So a lot of opportunities for practice. If you don't have a membership program, this is something that you should really consider. It's the easiest way to create passive income or recurring revenue in your practice without spending a ton of money buying real estate or other practices. I encourage both. I think they're wonderful ideas of what Brady has mentioned. I am considering buying some dental practices as well because I've been in the dental industry for a long time. So it's really fun. So think of a membership program. The practices that think this way grow their membership program and are more successful. They think of it as a marketing tool, a patient retention tool, a case acceptance increase tool, and a cash flow or a predictable recurring revenue tool. So with that said, I'm going to go down to some some case studies here. We won't go through all my slides because I have a ton. So we're going to go through a few case studies. I'm going to show you what some practices are doing in regards to recurring revenue we also found that, I mean, I have the benefit of looking at practices across the nation, thousands of practices that have membership programs, and we found that members spend more, and approximately member patients spend 2 to 3.5 times more than a non-member patient, which also increases your valuation. So this first example here, this is a practice in California that actually started in the middle of the shutdown. Within a few months, they signed up 281 patients to their membership program, which resulted in circle number one here on my screen, resulted in just under $7,000 in monthly recurring revenue coming in. And down here in the yearly, let me get here, you can see my mouse. In the yearly revenue here, it generated about a little over $82,000 in yearly recurring revenue, and that's just a few months in. This practice, in fact, all the practices that I'll be showing you, started out talking to their existing uninsured patients and tapping into that revenue stream, in getting recurring revenue and increased case acceptance. And this is a screenshot of what Boom Cloud looks like, our software that helps you manage all this. Uh, Systems help you scale is typically what I say. All these practices, we've been able to help them scale their membership program and generate a lot of passive income. The second practice here, they used both uninsured existing patients and Facebook ads to get the word about their membership program. I believe marketing is extremely critical if you want to grow this passive income stream. You got to market and get the word out so patients know that you have one. This practice, if you look at circle number 2 on this dashboard here, this practice has a little over 1,100 active membership patients that are providing over $26,000 in monthly recurring revenue for this particular practice. Again, they use Facebook ads and tapped into their existing uninsured patient base that they weren't getting much revenue from because patients weren't showing up. I'm sure most of you here have heard, this many times. I can't go to the dentist because I don't have insurance. That's a big problem with the mindset, of an uninsured patient. So by promoting your membership program to your uninsured patient base, you'll tap into this revenue stream. This practice, over $316,000 in annual recurring revenue for their practice that comes in, whether they do dentistry or not, which is a wonderful benefit. Brady talks about working with your hands a lot and trying to minimize that as you grow your practice, or at least build systems to help you do this. This last practice here, they have just under 2,000 patients in circle number 2, 2,000, just under 2,000 patients, which generates almost $50,000 in monthly recurring revenue that automatically comes in whether they do dentistry or not, whether they're in Florida or Hawaii or not, right, on vacation, or hopefully not this, but during a shutdown. This practice was generating this revenue during the shutdown. So just over $500,000 in annual recurring revenue for this practice. They use direct mail marketing and their existing uninsured patient base. So you can see that the power of a membership program can bring a lot of passive income in. And this is, I think, this particular practice, this is about 2 years in, and all these practices started a membership program from scratch, right? Like Brady said, you buy low, sell high, right? Starting something and creating something from scratch is a form of buying low. And obviously this provides a wonderful cash flow stream for your practice every month. This particular practice, every month they start their month with just under $50,000 in their bank account. Think about that. Most practice owners, you close the month. Let's say you closed $100,000 month. Let's just say, for just to keep it simple, you close it on the 30th of the last day of the month. The first of the month, you start at zero and you got to build and work your way back up again. The beautiful thing about recurring revenue through membership programs is that you start each month with whatever your monthly recurring revenue base is, or you start each year with the annual revenue. Here you can see this practice over $500,000 in annual recurring revenue. When I say recurring revenue, I mean it's automatic coming in automatically. right? So those are some examples here of practices that have done really well with their membership programs and utilize a tool like BoomCloud to help grow and scale their membership program. Key mistakes that practices make: uh, one, not automating your membership program; two, putting it in a binder or relying on an office manager to keep the concept and management of the program in his or her head. You know, if you let an employee go, or they quit, and they're the ones managing your membership program, most likely it crumbles, and it does not provide a stream of passive income for your practice. So this is why a lot of practices are using BoomCloud, so that they can have that reliable income and not rely on on people to manage those systems or automate those systems. So a couple things here. I got a book specifically on membership programs that I want to share you guys, and we'll let you guys go unless anyone have any questions about membership programs. I know I probably went real quick on it. I have a ton of content and webinars that go real in depth with membership programs and how to scale them, how to grow them, how to everything from A to Z. But I want to offer this book for you. Are there any for cosmetic facial surgeons? Great question, Christine. Do you have any type of maintenance that you do for your patients, like hygiene or perio or anything like that in your practice? Laser tightening. How long is that maintenance program for? Is it like 6 months, or is it kind of like a lifetime thing that they have to do? The lifetime. Yes. So you definitely could do some type of membership program based off of that. I'd love to learn more actually on what you're thinking here, and I can help you understand. Okay, understand how to create a membership program. Oh, cool, Botox. Yeah, you could do a membership program as long as you have maintenance that patients are coming back in, every 6 months or every quarter or whatever the cadence is. You can turn that into a subscription program that generates passive income. uh, yeah, that's very true, Christine. I love it. But I what I recommend you guys do is check out Boom Cloud, what we're doing in the dental industry. I've been doing this since 2014 for dental practices across the nation. This is my free ebook here. You can get it at boomcloudapps.com/book. And then I recommend going to boomcloudapps.com and scheduling a demo with my team to understand how BoomCloud can help you create passive income through membership programs and help you not only get that passive revenue income stream in, but increase the value of your practice and help you increase case acceptance by 2 to 3.5 times from your uninsured patient base. So this is my email. It's Jordan@boomcloudapps.com. Go download this ebook and schedule a demo on our site to learn more about our software. And again, you're not just going to learn more about our technology. My team they're trained to be consultants and help you understand how to implement this in your practice and get the details there. So yes, thank you, Christine. Congrats to both of you for making fun of profitable careers for yourself. Yes, and you know what I enjoy more, Christine, is helping others create profitable careers as well. Like Brady said, the mentorship is always fun, helping people with these business concepts. No, you're not. You're not the only one still on. You're just the one that's chatty. So those of you that are still on, go check out this book here. I'll be sending everybody a replay, but I really appreciate you coming on. Brady appreciates you coming on to our webinar today, and we hope you have a wonderful evening. Rock on, everybody.